Hey, what's up guys? This is Kay from Lunarlight Games and thanks for dropping in. Hello and welcome to the channel if you're new. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, and if it's not too much trouble, please also hit the like button as well. It really helps out our channel whenever you guys do both of those, so please do so. Help us keep growing our channel. Any commentary for a stream of this game recently, so let's go ahead and get started with that. Anyways, we haven't gone back to Diablo 3 in quite a while, so I got some spare time. Let's go ahead and jump in and do a few activities, and I'll probably have to get off in a little while, maybe, well, say an hour and a half. I got enough free time for that. So, hang on here. Alright. How are we doing with our season journey? I spent most of the last couple of sessions just trying to grind out enough levels, and we barely hit level 70. So, we hit level 70 and also completed our first Greater Rift.
I can't do that here.
So yeah, seems like we managed to do nearly everything for the first chapter. Let's do these real quick. Those aren't going to take very long. Now let's see here. After this, we'll have to do a couple runs to get some bounty rewards. Man, it's been so long since I've jumped back into this. I am losing my muscle memory.
Still waiting.
Come on, little buddy. Drop all your gems for us, please.
I become more powerful.
Oh, hey. Looks like we have a nice portal to either Windydale or Windyshire.
A worthy opponent.
Well, let's see. Hang on. Let me pick up all the rewards first, and then we'll see where this place takes us. Never mind. We're at the secret Cal level. So I hope you guys have all had a great day. Had a rather busy one. Nothing good. So let's go ahead and take the time to just farm for some points. Do a couple activities and then hop off. That's always been Diablo 3's greatest strength. It's the type of game that lends itself well to those who are quite busy and just want to have a quick grind session.
Your grave awaits.
Funny enough, I don't think there's been any sort of Cal level unearthed from Diablo 4 yet. Whether that's due to Blizzard not wanting to repeat
Your defenses
these
are
sort of
nothing.
things or something else, I don't know. What the hell is that? Oh right. I think that portal there is part of the seasonal event.
If my old masters could see me now.
go ahead and jump into it and see what it offers us. This is going to be my first time doing one of these, so fingers crossed it's going to be something entertaining. Anything? No? Nothing? Oh, great. Looks like we really jumped into one of these.
Heal me.
So far, so good. I should probably switch over to my other controller, the one that's more busted than this one. I'm still using the good controller, the Spider-Man remastered, or not remastered, the Spider-Man 2. Yeah, we're still using the Spider-Man 2 controller, so don't really want to be too rough with this controller, otherwise we'd have to get a replacement, and these things are very hard to come by. So I'm not familiar with what these levels offer. I think they're just a way to grind further into the game to unlock maybe some rewards. Probably some goodies here and there. And it just serves as a way for us to keep grinding. It's not very engaging at the moment. But maybe if we dive deeper.
Our opponents may be strong, but
I'm not really seeing the appeal here. So I'm still not using my actual
Need more time.
build stuff yet because we haven't gotten any armor sets yet. But let's take the time to, you know, just enjoy everything.
More powerful.
After all, that's why we're here, right? Just taking the sights, the journey. It's not necessarily the destination that makes everything fun, but what we do along the way. I guess we can go there.
Not ready yet.
Okay. Oh no. I wonder, are we supposed to die during this run into the deeps or no?
I wish I could do that.
I must heal.
Seems like we're meant to do something, but what it is, I have no idea yet. Okay, so there's no penalty for us dying here. I don't think so anyway.
I need healing.
Come on, dudes. Open up the path for us. I probably need to pick up those legendary gems.
I
and
must
a
wait
nice armor
longer.
set because
I
we're
need
struggling to even stay alive here.
Heal me.
Too many enemies. Too many
Still
enemies.
I need
Our gear is
healing.
not good enough. Yeah, if we can just keep, throwing out attacks, we can eventually whittle them down. It's not the most fun thing to do, but hey, give me this here. That is not that great of an item. Oh, I forgot we have an extra skill, so... What can we pick up? Maybe this one? You know what? Since we're using this channeling skill, and we're staying still most of the time, let's take advantage.
Need more time.
I'm badly wounded.
Come on, buddy. Cooperate with us, please. There's another item. And that's not even that good for our follower either. But we'll give it to him anyway. At this point, if you manage to get legendaries, make sure to stick them on whatever follower you have. Because you're not really using them for DPS purposes, you're using them mainly for additional effects.
Ah, good.
Oh, wait, hang on. There's one more guy here. One last straggler.
A glorious development.
There we go. Wow, it keeps going. That's great for us, though. More enemies, more gear. I'm hoping for our set items, though. Those probably aren't worth it. There goes another portal. Where it leads to, I have no idea. We're kind of far off from our intended path. We were supposed to go kill the Skeleton King. And instead we're off to who knows where.
Help me!
Prepare for a long fight.
I know this looks difficult for now, but eventually we're going to get to a point where this is going to be no problem.
I'm carrying too much.
Yeah, you definitely are. It means that we'll have to head back soon. Can our follower use this? Yeah, we'll give it to him.
Good thought.
We'll be back.
Returning to town.
Just gonna stick that there, and there goes all the gems. Can we slot anything yet? No. In the meantime, how about this one? I like that this game doesn't make using gems a complete slog. Whereas in Diablo 4, trying to use gems is it's so painful. Like, you just want to upgrade your equipment and suddenly the game requires you to put money everywhere. Upgrade your weaponry? No, you need money for that. Reroll your gear? No, you need increasingly large amounts of money for that. It's like they actively forgot what made the game fun in the first place.
I must wait longer.
All in the quest to feed their own pockets. Stay back there, you.
I need healing.
This is not looking good. On the plus side, more Paragon points. So I wonder, is intelligence and vitality capped this time around? The old model had us throwing everything into intelligence and vitality after we stuck the other 50 points into everything else. It made for a never-ending quest to power ourselves up, but... Oh, hello. It did make for an entertaining endgame. This ring is no good. It's got more power here, though.
Just the thing.
Wait, is he not using... Yeah, he's using the puzzle ring, but it's not summoning anything. Hello, our first set item. Sweet. This is one that we want. That is one down. And we just have to focus on getting the next several pieces of gear. Ah, crap. There's guardians all over the place.
I'm badly wounded.
Damn.
I'm injured. I wish I could do that.
I mean, this isn't so bad. We might end up dying, but we'll still stay alive long enough to kill them.
I need healing. Help me.
Oops. Get out of the way. They're about halfway done.
I need healing. Not ready yet.
Stay away, buddy.
I'm badly wounded.
Come on. Just a little bit more, please. Here we go, he's down. Got several items there. Oh, just great. Got another one. Well, this is simple.
Heal me. Need more time.
I just need to ensure that we're
They could see me. Help me.
hitting her. But outside of that, no problem.
I'm healed. I'm badly wounded.
Yeah, but she's gonna die first.
I wish I could do that.
That's the idea anyway. There she goes.
My bags are full. I need to go back.
Alright, back to town. I wonder if there's an end to this place. Even if there isn't, I don't mind. Got new gear here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to slot in that ruby. Another gem there. Right, I forgot. In that case, I'm gonna have to hold on to that puzzle ring. Maybe there's some way for us in the future to upgrade it or re-roll for a better one. Just gonna stick these away and then let's tear that off. Sweet. And then, yeah. Back into the dungeon we go. This is a better take on the Nephalem Rifts. We don't have to hunt for items or anything like that.
Not
We can
ready
just
yet.
pick up the gear and keep pushing further and further in. Ouch.
Still waiting. Help me!
Away. Nothing? No gear? Well, alrighty then. There's the next step. I'm seeing a lot of good gear, but no rings. Or
Not
not
ready
rings,
yet.
but no legendaries. So all of these maps are recycled. Figures. Oh hi, didn't see you there.
Our opponents may be strong, but I will not stand it.
I need healing.
Oh crap. It's gonna get harder and harder, isn't it?
Need more
I'm
time.
badly wounded.
Well, let's focus on one group at a time. Or not. We can just die. That's always an option.
Your defenses are nothing.
Okay, so it seems like there's
I
one
need
drop over
healing.
there. Maybe I can pick it up.
Still waiting.
Come on. Trap. Barely got it. I think. Damn. Not the one that we need.
I must heal.
That's okay.
Need more time.
Well, that sucks.
I'm injured.
Still waiting.
I'm back.
Oh, come on. I swear, maybe the monk would have better luck here.
Nicely done.
What a monstrous creature!
There's one legendary for our follower. I think. Hang on. No, I guess not. At least this is a great way to farm out items. Oh, hey you.
I'm just
Thanks for
warming
that.
up. I need healing.
Not ready yet.
And I think there's our reward. I think we pushed as far as we could go here. Yep, that's right about it. I don't know if we have enough room for everything, but
Greetings, Nephalem.
Ah, crap.
I can create a rift so you might test...
Oh, I guess I was on a timer. I didn't even see that. Oh well. What do we got? I think this is one of the items for our build. I'll take that. Not necessary, but we'll take it. I haven't even begun to look at the list of items that we need. Just gonna stick all of our goodies back in the box. Alright, so back to what we were doing before this.
Let's see what happens, shall we?
How many keys did we pick up? 10? That's not a bad haul. Alright, so time to go back over here and start doing some more objectives. If we can get the first 3 or 4 chapters done, we can probably end up
Keep your distance from him. This burden is mine.
with a useful item set. It's not going to be the one that we want, but
You dare to bring
I'm going to take it anyway.
life into my tomb?
We shall put you down, Hellspawn!
There we go.
Need more time.
See you later, all of you. So this year's season event is not that good.
We have just arrived in Tristram, and I must say, I'm a bit dismayed. This place is a backwater filled with serfs and an ancient broken-down monastery, hardly fit for the King of Condorus. I cannot fathom why Lazarus was so intent on this becoming our new seat of power.
I think the biggest changes for this season come from the rework of the Paragon points, not necessarily the seasonal event. The seasonal event itself is kind of lackluster. It's just a straight-up dungeon crawl. Basically a more efficient version of the Greater Rifts. Actually, I take that back. Not the Greater Rifts, the Nephalem Rifts. I mean, we'll survive, though. Even if it's not the greatest content in the world. Anyways, we're done with that objective. Let's go find... what's her face? Over here. No, wait, hang on.
I am returning to town.
Magda, okay. Magda is right over here. Alright, so that's one bounty objective. We still need 4 more. We'll come back to that area there after we kill her off.
It is with some reluctance that I write on the 7 lords of hell, for they are the greatest of the demons, and even whispering their names seems to poison the air around me. They are...
Help us! You can't leave us here!
Yeah, I can. Watch me.
The gods have answered my prayers. Do not worry about us. Go! I don't like the look of that.
I think I'm going to do probably the first chapter, and then we're going to do some major farming. The other objectives can wait. Because we're not really going to get anywhere if we don't do the required grinding for gear. If we have better gear, it's going to make the rest of the grind much easier. Plus, I want to get my actual build.
I become more powerful.
I mean, this is fine, but once we get the whole meteor build going on, nothing's really going to stand in our way until around, say, around Torment 10, I think. And let's throw that in.
I need to go back.
Lorath, I haven't heard from the Herondrum we sent to the Scovos Isles.
Scovos.
Hey lady, I got some new things. You should take a look.
So those bosses are completed. Nothing good here. I forgot. Hang on. We get one... Where the heck is the... Usually we get some sort of... There we go. I guess we get a pet here? Hang on. That's weird. You have to complete Chapter 2 to get Hadric's gift. Let's see. Firebird's Finery. Damn, we have to complete the first 3. Or 4. I mean, that's going to be really easy. I guess we shall do some... Let's do some bounties.
My name is Lackdanon, and I'm cursed. Once the captain of King Leoric's army, I left only to honor my land and my king. No man has a greater love for his king than I had for mine, even as I drove my blade through his dark and corrupted heart.
Sounds like the toxic relationship of them all.
You dare attack me?
Can't really say I've had one of those before. Now let's go find this Captain Cage, I mean. Captain Cage, I wonder if he has any relation to Johnny Cage.
What mischief is this? I am so good. I astound myself.
And last season was so good. This season, not so much. Not having that altar is really a bummer. And I don't think that's slated to come back until season 30. Well after the fact that most players have stopped playing Diablo 3. so we have defeated him. Just gonna do this one here.
If only they could see me
No,
now.
not yet. We're still working on our build. The meteors only really come in handy, and they come into play once we have our armor set. Right now I'm just throwing whatever on.
How does that feel?
And it also requires that we keep grinding out those gems. Oh, I forgot. You know what? That's what I should be doing. Since we haven't gotten the armor set yet. We should be grinding out greater rifts in order to get the Legacy of Dreams.
You dare attack me?
In a lot of respects, I still think this game is the better game as well.
Your grave awaits.
I still think there are some aspects that Diablo 4 does better, namely the combat, but not the level progression. The level progression in Diablo 4 goes a little too hard in the other direction. So much so that it makes the entire game a huge grind. What's over here? Oh crap. I have definitely stepped into the wrong neighborhood. I should probably leave these portals for later. I mean, we'll get a bunch of items out of it, but... See what's over here. Nothing? Just a big old bonfire. Yeah, it's too bad. Although No Man's Sky had its own issues as well back in the day. When it first came out, it promised a lot of things like, say, if you know the situation from, what was that one new Bethesda game that came out recently? It's right on the tip of my tongue. From the creators of, what was that, Star, whatever game it was. I haven't been paying attention to it, so that's why it's kind of blanking on me at the moment. But it promised a lot and under-delivered. Yeah, crap, they're pulling me back. Yeah, so what you're playing right now is the game that they improved upon, not necessarily the game that they came out with. Oh yeah, Starfield. So No Man's Sky was a little bit like that game. Promised a lot, under-delivered a little bit. Come on, who the hell's over there? And so, with the magic of time, the game is much better now, but when it first came out, it wasn't looking so hot. I think at the time it was almost like an indie game. And then eventually it got more improvements through a bigger budget. Where did this guy come from? Okay, so how are we doing with gear? Nothing really. Alright, so I'm still downloading Final Fantasy VII Remake. We'll probably get started on playing that again. Maybe sometime Friday or Saturday. I mean, who knows? I kind of doubt it because they have a different kind of... They have a different vision for what they want to achieve with Diablo 4. Because No Man's Sky wasn't really intended to be like a live service game or anything like that. It was mainly just a space exploration game. But then because people were ragging on it so much that the devs decided to improve it. Otherwise, I think it could have fallen into the same category as, say, Stardew Valley. Where, you know, you'll see some improvements over time, but...
If only they could see me now.
It wasn't really intended to be a live service thing. Yeah, I'm still disappointed that the newer Final Fantasies don't really go in the RPG direction.
That was a worthy foe. Glorious.
I mean, 14 is still ongoing, but that's an MMO.
Still waiting. How does that feel?
You know, funny enough, for the time that the Final Fantasy games were released in, they were considered some of the best looking games of their generation. Well, I don't know about the pixel ones, but definitely Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, even 13, and 15.
Can't carry more.
I am returning to town.
They kind of lost their general direction sometime around 12 and didn't really know what to do with the series after around 13. And there weren't really sequels to any of them except for 10-2 and some of the other spin-offs like the old Game Boy Advance, or not Game Boy Advance, the old Game Boy ones. I think it was like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest or something like that. Which wasn't really Final Fantasy, it was a different game series rebranded as Final Fantasy. Oh, you mean the remasters? Some of them are quite good. The Pixel Remaster ones, I wouldn't recommend the first three, but definitely around 5 and 6 onwards, you'll have a great time. The PS1 Final Fantasy games are very good. And then the PS2 ones, 10 is definitely good. 12 is much harder to get into. 12 is also made by the same folks that made Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre. 12 is a bit of an odd case because when it first came out, it didn't have like character classes or any specializations like that. That depended entirely upon you, but then when they came out with the remaster of Final Fantasy 12, they remastered the remake version. Yeah, that sounds about right. Because when, like, say, Final Fantasy 9 came out, I was around, like, 10 at the time. I never, well, even the, like, Final Fantasy 6, that would have came out when I was around, like, 5-ish. So if you're around, like, the older upper 30s to 40 range, you'd probably have played them as a kid. Let's jump back down here. This season, man, not that great. Yeah, the first series of Final Fantasy games are still pretty popular. It got really big once Final Fantasy VII got released, though. And though I was too young to remember the release date of that one, I do remember the excitement extending over into Final Fantasy VIII and even 9. And then there was Final Fantasy Tactics as well that came around that era as well. And then by the time like Final Fantasy X came out, like with the PS2 out and everything, most kids who were playing video games at the time, they were familiar with Final Fantasy by then. I think that came out around the same era as like GTA 3. And GTA 3 back then was huge. Like I was as young as maybe 10 or 11, 12 at the time and still playing. Even though, of course, you know, they say kids shouldn't play violent video games, but I didn't really have that kind of restriction.
Not ready yet.
Come on, can we get this done in like 10 seconds? Maybe, if we're lucky. Oh crap. Yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics is, I want to say, it's less involved than Tactics Ogre. Tactics Ogre is deep in a way that's almost overwhelming. It's definitely not a game I would recommend to a newbie. But Final Fantasy Tactics definitely is. Because you can get into the game without having to worry about losing characters and messing up your builds and whatnot.
Excellent.
Sorta. Because I don't think Final Fantasy... No, scratch that. Tactics Ogre got released on the SNES, but it didn't really get brought over until the PS1 era. And at the time, I don't remember ever playing Tactics Ogre for the PS1. But I do remember Final Fantasy Tactics being out at the time. Oh, do you mean for Felseal?
You look like you could use a new item of, indeterminate.
Monsters are neat to have in Final Fantasy Tactics, but they aren't really necessary. Like the dragons that you see in Tactics Ogre, they can be overwhelming to an insane degree. Let's see here. What am I doing? Right. I need to continue finishing these off real quick. But yeah, if I gave somebody that was inexperienced with video games and said, here, play Tactics Ogre and try to beat it, they would probably lose it by the end of the first couple battles. Like, even for myself, when I first tried the PSP version, it was absolutely a nightmare before I understood the system. Yeah, they can't really equip items or anything like that. They're mainly a fun side class that you can develop and use, and also they're very useful for poaching. Because you remember how in Tactics Ogre you can get like food that can be used to upgrade your units, right? Well, in Final Fantasy Tactics, certain items are not... They're not really purchasable unless you poach certain enemies. And then once you have the enemies poached, you can go into the shop and buy up the new items. Ah, I haven't gotten close to that thing. Where's the exit? Yeah, that's good that Felseal has offered that to the monster classes. It makes them much more useful and gives them an option. Outside of, you know, giving them insane
malaise
stats.
has fallen over the manor we now call home. Young Albrecht seems to be enjoying himself in our new home, however. Perhaps I am simply suffering from an imbalance of humors brought on by the recent change of climate.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much what Tactics Ogre did instead of giving them items. They just gave them insane stats for health and defenses.
You think to take my treasure? You shall not leave this room.
I won't be dying today.
You will. Alright, that's the fourth one. We need just one more. I guess we're gonna go kill the Spider Queen. Yeah, you have a huge amount of options in Tactics Ogre. Not to mention that Let Us Cling Together was really made with the endgame in mind.
Defy all reason.
If you took out the endgame, I think Tactics Ogre would be a bit of a harder game to stomach because you don't really get much equipment. Like just the base game itself, considering all the gear you can get access to, it's not very much. Like, some of the mages are still using equipment that you would have gotten at the very beginning of the game. And unless you decide to go diving into the Palace of the Dead, you still don't get access to much either. Well, I'm kind of struggling to remember what you can get in the later sections. Yeah, I think you could probably set yourself up with a crew of non-human characters and still complete the game that way.
You dare attack me?
So in that sense, Tactics Ogre and Felsteel have something in common, where using your non-human characters is a totally viable option outside of Denim. They're not unusable. They still have the same undead nature where they can't be killed permanently. Because you know how you have the 3-turn timer until you either lose a unit or the undead units get revived. That is still there in Final Fantasy Tactics. The only difference is the other units are so overpowered that it's kind of pointless to use them. It's sort of the same kind of situation where in Tactics Ogre, the main difference between your generic units and your character units, your named character units, are the character classes. But in Final Fantasy Tactics, you don't really get very many named character units, but the ones that you do get are very good. They don't always, but most of the time those undead units are sacrificial.
How does that feel?
Which arguably is almost the same thing in Tactics Ogre. You're meant to sacrifice units and lose them along the way. It's just that with the way that I play Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre, I tend not to lose any units. Cloud was actually, well, I won't say that he's actually meant to be anything other than an Easter egg. There are ways to improve him, though. Okay, so there is that chapter completed. I mean, Cloud's default class isn't very good, but there are ways to make overpowered units anyway.
If only they could see me now.
I mean, just like in Tactics Ogre, your main character is
Need more
arguably
arcane power.
your most useful character.
Run when they had the chance.
Unless you get the Thunder God. Makes me wonder how they would rebalance that game. Whether they would incorporate any changes from, say, Tactics Ogre or just keep it its own thing. We got to throw in these points. Cloud's a bit of a joke character, but when you have characters like Agrias, Mustadio, even Balthier from the War of the Alliance version, he's still really good. Actually, Balthier is kind of broken in that version. Yeah, that sort of thinking, it's always going to be in that game because so much stuff in that game is broken. Like, near literally broken. The health values in that game don't really extend to the thousands like Tactics Ogre Reborn. I can understand where they're coming from, though.
The world you have finished.
I mean, Final Fantasy Tactics, I think it's only easy for the first chapter, and then once you get access to the Samurai, the game's difficulty goes pretty much downhill from there, and you don't even need overpowered units. Let's throw all of that on. Now what else? Funny enough, there is multiplayer in the PSP version. It's also a way for you to gain access to some other multiplayer-only items as well. I never really tried it very much, though. The items you get in the base game are strong enough anyway, to the point that you don't really need it. Alright, so let's see here. What have we done? So we completed chapter 1. Now I need to move further into chapter 2. We'll need to kill those two bosses, craft a couple rings, do some enchanting, try and smogrify something. Alright, so this is going to be quick and simple. Let's do a quick thing over here. And then we need a ring. There we go. So that takes care of 2 objectives. We need to kill these 2. We can do that right now. Enchant and transmogrify. I'm going to get rid of the headpiece and do this one. And then we can enchant any old piece. Let's get rid of this thing. Okay, that brings us up to 8 out of 11. Have you tried the 2 newest games in the Diablo, I mean not the Diablo series, the Disguise series? I know 7 was just out and I still have 6 lying around, but never got to those games. I think I tried this guy 4 before, but then I kind of got lost trying to get through the first opening hours. Didn't know what I was doing. But I hear great things. I need to go find Kanai's cube. Okay, so... let's go trash these items. Kanai's cube can be found over here in Secheron. Gotta get that cube unlocked. That's not the way we want to go.
Baal has invaded Secheron, but we will fight until we are no more. For we are all that stands between him and our sacred mountain. And I swear, by the blood of Bokathos, hell will pay. Chief Elder Kanai was the best of us.
I see.
He could have been the next immortal king.
That's cool.
None have come close to bringing the tribes together since Warask. But Kanai
I didn't really get
could have been
this
the
guy
one to change that
7
with
either.
his indomitable spirit. Though as strong
I
as
have too many
3
games
warriors,
on
his true strength lay in his
my backlog,
compassion.
so I figured, you know what, I'll just wait for a sale or something.
Your defenses are nothing.
Plus, I couldn't justify paying for that game. Not when I haven't played any of the other this guy games either. Come on, stay away, all of you. Back away. The tongue collector? Yeah, I didn't realize she had no shirt on. So yeah, starting Friday or Saturday, we'll be playing through Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we'll try to get into the DLC. That way we'll have everything covered in time by what is it? I think it was like late February that the sequel is coming out. Can't wait to see how that holds up. I thought I remember seeing the game for like half off.
I am so good. I
So
astound
just for
myself.
story purposes, we're going to be replaying through the campaign of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I haven't yet decided whether I want to use my old save, just to cut down on some time. I think if I upload my PS4 save, I can probably grab the platinum.
In the eastern kingdom of Khejistan, I heard rumors of Zakarum warriors called Crusaders. While the natives were most reticent, I was...
We showed Baal and his army what it meant to fight true warriors. But when
Yeah, I
Kanai
missed
was
this.
killed, it
Having all
froze
the
the
lore
spirits
bits,
of our bloodied ranks. That was when
that
the
stuff
battle
doesn't get
was lost.
added
for
into the
he
game
was
for
truly
Diablo
our
4
king.
unless you're really looking out for stuff. I mean, there's New Game Plus, so even if you wanted to grind, there's no point to doing it because you beat the game, replay it, you carry over your equipment.
Didn't see that coming, did you?
So I pretty much grinded out all of the magic from playing the game, I think around like 2 or 3 times, so... all of your progress carries over.
Help! Please, free me from this miserable cage!
The only thing that you really should be watching out for is your weapon system. because depending on how you want to play in the game, like the combat system, you might use one weapon over another. Some weapons have more slots and they have different bonuses, so that keeps the combat fresh. You can min-max if you want, but if you don't feel like doing that, hell, I think you could even use the joke weapon and beat the game with it. You won't really get access much to magic or anything like that, but it'll up your base power for attacking. So at least in that way, the combat's flexible. You can grind if you want to. If not, then just replay the game over and over. Which for me I think is a better option, because if you want to play on the harder difficulties and get the platinum,
I am so good.
it works out
I
to
astound
be about
myself.
the same. You can have the fun of grinding through combat, while also not having to stick around in one area over and over. I think they struck an even balance between letting those who enjoy grinding do so, and then for those who just want to get on with the story, do that as well. Because there's a lot of magic in the game that if you want to experiment around with builds, you'd have to grind out the points to upgrade them anyway. Otherwise, you'd have to replay the game over and over again to get enough upgraded materia. I think that was the major issue of the original game. Because if you weren't using certain materia from the beginning of the game, it took forever to grind out enough points to upgrade everything to your liking. But it didn't matter too much anyway, because in the original game, some of the builds weren't all that necessary if you want to just beat the game. I mean, as long as you got the most powerful summon spells, you could beat the game with that instead. The super bosses are a different story though. The super bosses actually require some basic strategy and some thought put into your builds.
I'm just warming up.
Because you can put on the best weapon possible, but the game still has ways of throwing status effects on you. I mean, that would depend. It's not like, say, Resident Evil 4, where one version was clearly slightly better than the other. It's just that the remake is a sort of hybrid RPG action game. Though, to be fair, the graphics are not that great in the original. I can put up with it because it's what I grew up with. And it's even worse because it's not like pixel art, which would be even more easier on the eyes. It's more like the old polygonal graphics where things don't really look like what they're supposed to look like. Like, at least with pixel art, you can make out what they're trying to be. early Paragon artwork is not that
I'm
great.
so good, I astound myself.
It's funny because games like Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo, they had even earlier 3D graphics, and they still somehow ended up looking better.
How does that feel?
I think we're about at the end here. I can just figure out where I'm supposed to go. There it is.
Kanai's cube. The cube was used by my Haradrim brothers in many of their most complex rituals.
Yeah, that's pretty much the main...
When its potential became clear, they began to fear
the main
its
sticking
power.
point.
The fools. They hid it away.
When
even
it was
from
first
me.
announced, everybody
They
thought it was just
created
going to be
less
like a
powerful
one-to-one remake.
implement, the Haradrim cube, which they used for many years.
Like, starting from the PS3 era, they had like a tech demo, which was basically the opening of Final Fantasy VII. And then it came out and was drastically different. Followed the same outline of the story, but it didn't really fill in the same details. I mean, it'd be more like if Tactics Ogre had a sequel and it became the original. Actually, no. Scratch that. I should say it's more like if Ogre Battle was remade and done in the style of Tactics Ogre. Everybody who grew up with Ogre Battle, you know, the real-time RTS sort of gameplay, suddenly had to switch over to an SRPG. If they didn't enjoy that, well, then they were kind of screwed. I mean, the gameplay itself isn't bad, though. I mean, I got the platinum for it. So I spent enough time in the game doing everything, completing everything, and overall it wasn't as bad as people might make it out to be. Though if you're a fan of, say, JRPGs, then yeah, I would get why you were upset that it wasn't what you thought it was going to be. The combat itself was pretty fun, though. It's not entirely action like how FF16 is, but it's more involved than, say, FF15, where in 15 the combat, if you ran into an encounter, you could literally hold the melee button and it would perform the attacks for you. That's not the way it went in 7 Remake. You actually have to position yourself, throw out spells, throw out your special attacks, your techs, and also while you're waiting for your ATB to recharge, you had to do melee as well. '16, though, if you're not a fan of action games, then you're kind of out of luck there. Now let's see, I think I might have to jump off in a bit. It is nearly 7 p.m. Gotta go pick someone up. But until that call comes by, we will keep playing for now. And then I'll probably be back later with more Tactics Ogre. Alright, so we gotta kill Iswal and Gome. Gome is gonna be down right about here. Yeah, I agree. There's a
I am
good balance
unstoppable.
between the genres. I like action games when they're done right, and I like RPGs even better when they're done right. It's just FF16 didn't really know what it wanted to be. Even though the director absolutely did know what it wanted to be.
I have been fortunate enough to learn much of the barbarians' complicated history in my time. Yet the origins of these large, mighty warriors are hazy at best. Legend holds that they are the offspring of Bull Kathos, an ancient who embodied their ideals of strength, bravery, and courage.
We have done it!
I've spent enough time around various genres to know if it's a good game, it's just overall a good game.
I have need of your ample services. Drag yourself out of whatever carnal corner of the burning hell
Trying to figure out where the heck is the
you
route.
lounge in, and bring your daughters with you. Be wary.
Oh, right over here. That's what I'm missing.
Cunning and strong. But the mortals have always been easy prey for you, have they not?
I put off playing FF15 for the longest time because I just did not like the combat system.
Didn't see that coming.
16 slightly better though. I really need to get back to playing that. We got distracted with so many other games. I didn't even beat the game yet. I'm still stuck at around like 75%.
The children of Bull Kathos settled in the northern steppes, an area that is now known as the Dreadland.
Need more time.
Theirs was primarily a nomadic and tribal culture, though they had a few permanent settlements such as Cesseron
I don't have enough
and
arcane power.
Paragon.
Come on,
A
dude.
group of revered former warriors
There we go.
known as the Elder Council ruled the barbarians.
And so with FF7 Rebirth coming out,
I am unstoppable.
that's gonna get in the way even further. And I just barely got back on track with Tactics Ogre too. Oh well. It just means our backlog is gonna grow bigger and bigger. Alright, let's take care of this boss. I think the exploration was probably the best part of 15, but then since I only started playing FF15 with the Royal version, I already had access to that one Warp Strike sword that Come on, buddy. Go down.
I need arcane power.
There we go. Now, if I have a little bit more time, I can probably head on over and kill Iswal. Where the hell are you? I think he's over here. My main issues with 16 isn't necessarily the linearity. It's more the fact that it's an action game trying to cosplay as an RPG. If they kind of stripped away the RPG aspect and made it even more action focused, it would be better in my opinion. Like, you get access to all these weapon upgrades, but they don't really do much other than just upgrade your stats. And also the look. They don't really change up the gameplay in any significant way, other than just to make yourself feel powerful. What really does affect the gameplay is the various powers that you get from the icons. But because the icons are locked to the bosses, and you have to defeat the bosses in order to use the iconic abilities, it makes it kind of hard to stomach having to go through the entire game in order to unlock the complete array of powers that you can use. And also, some of the better fights in the game are locked behind the hunts. If you don't do any of the hunts, then you don't really get to experience what the full might of the battle system is like. And believe me, if you've been following along on some of the episodes for FF16, some of the fights can be amazing. They're not difficult in the extreme, but they do challenge your knowledge of the systems.
Still waiting.
Come on, buddy. Go down for us, please. There we go. That's gonna be all for Chapter 2. No rewards? Never mind.
I need to go back.
Yeah, that's another issue too. For a good stretch of the game, if you're not beating any bosses and unlocking iconic abilities, it becomes sort of like rinse and repeat. Like, there's a good stretch of the game where it's nothing but just side questing, and it can slow down the pace of the game really badly. Okay, so I think that's going to cover our session for now.
Not here.
Let me go ahead and do a recap. Alright, so we have done all of Chapter 1 and all of Chapter 2. All of these objectives are complete, and now we are moving on to Chapter 3. This one's not too bad. We just need to farm out a bunch of bounty rewards. And I think there are 2 boss fights that we can do as well. I think next time I'm just gonna drop back in and throw on an open lobby so we can get extra players to help us out. That way we can have everyone gather bounty rewards without us having to farm everything ourselves. And then after that, this one's gonna be easy. More boss fights, farming. These are gonna come in time. This thing though, we have to beat up to GR 20. Not bad. I think we can complete these 2 chapters in one session next time. And then the real test comes in the Slayer tier. This one's going to be especially bad because, let me see. Okay, let's see if anyone has actually completed this. So, wow, only 13 players have ever completed this conquest. That goes to show you how difficult this one is. This one we can farm a bunch of bounty rewards and unlock them. This one is also easy as well. I do not want to go for this one. I don't think we have enough sets for our character anyway. Let's see, Firebird's Finery, that's one. Tal Rasha's Elements, that's two. I think at best we only get up to like 3 armor sets with our character, and then we'd have to make another character if we want to get the other 3. That really stinks. I mean, it's easy enough to do, but we have to farm a lot of items out. That's going to be a bummer. Otherwise, we'd have to complete an entirely separate hardcore character and push it through GR45. Which isn't impossible. I think I've done it with Monk once in the past. I'll have to decide whether we want to do this one or that one. Alright, so that's going to cover our session for tonight. I'll be back later for more Tactics Ogre. Alrighty. So if you guys are currently watching this on YouTube, please like the video. If you guys have any comments or questions, please leave them down below. Let me know what you guys think. Share the video out wherever you guys can, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Check out our playlist for our previous play sessions, or head on over to our channel and check out the other various videos we have up. If you guys are over on Twitter, follow us at twitter.com/LunarlightGames. Over there you'll find deals, discounts, as well as news stories about the gaming world, as well as the odd giveaway we run from time to time. Check out the pinned post for more information, or hit up the hashtag LunarlightVault. If you'd like to support the channel financially, you can do so by dropping a donation over at paypal.me/LunarlightGames. The link's down below in the description, but if you guys don't have a tip for our tip jar, don't worry about it. Feel free to continue viewing our videos. Make sure you guys like each and every single one of them, and hit the subscribe button. Follow us over at twitch.tv/LunarlightGames, and also hit the notification bell across all of our platforms to get updates as soon as they're made available, or to catch whenever we go live. We will be back later. I gotta go do something real quick, but we will be continuing on the San Bronzo Ruins in Tactics Ogre, so stay tuned for that. We'll probably be back within an hour or so. So for now, take care, and we'll see you then.